Hidden Figures is based on the true story of three very intelligent black women, Katherine Johnson, Mary Jackson, and Dorothy Vaughan. All three women worked at NASA during the 1960s. NASA had women who did the calculations by hand who were nicknamed computers.
I will have you know, I was the first Negro female student at West Virginia University Graduate School. On any given day, I analyze the manometer levels for air displacement, friction, and velocity, and compute over 10,000 calculations by hand. So yes, they let women do some things at NASA, Mr. Johnson. And it's not because we wear skirts. It's because we wear glasses.
Katherine Johnson was a gifted mathematician who was originally a computer for NASA. She then got reassigned to work on one of the space task groups. She was involved in doing the projections and calculating equations for the trajectory and re-entry of Alan Shepard and John Glenn's launches. She later was influential in the calculations for the mission to the moon.
I plan on being an engineer at NASA, but I can't do that without taking them classes at that all-white high school. And I can't change the color of my skin. So I have no choice but to be the first, which I can't do without you, sir. Your Honor, out of all the cases you're gonna hear today, which one is gonna matter 100 years from now? Which one is gonna make you the first?
Mary Jackson worked with engineers on the capsule that would get the astronauts safely home. She wanted to be an engineer herself, and to do that, she had to attend certain courses at a segregated high school in Virginia. She petitioned the court and won, becoming America's first black female aeronautical engineer.
IBM 7090 data processing system. It has the ability to solve problems that cannot be solved in a lifetime of manual labor.
Hit it, girl. What's your name again?
Dorothy Vaughan.
Dorothy Vaughan worked with Mary, Katherine, and the other computers before they got reassigned. Mary was doing the work of a supervisor without the title or pay. She requested and was denied the position. When the IBM computing system was introduced, the women who worked the calculations by hand were most likely going to be out of a job. Vaughan trained all her fellow computers on how to program and work the new IBM so that they would still be essential parts of the space program. She later becomes the first black supervisor of NASA and ran the IBM program. The stories of each woman and other details and plot points are accurate to historical events. There are time period specific details like Kennedy posters on the street and the 1957 Chevy Bel Air that they drive to work. The Birmingham bus attack and a desegregation protest were included to show the racial views in the 1960s. The style of dress of the men in the workplace is also historically accurate. They all wear the same white shirt and tie, expressing the conformity of the time period. It also accurately portrayed the space race against the Soviet Union. Once Alan Shepard made it into space, Kennedy promised the U.S. would make it to the moon by the end of the decade.
It is that man in his quest for knowledge and progress is determined and cannot be deterred. The exploration of space will go ahead. Whether we join in it or not, we mean to be a part of it. We mean to lead it. For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond.
The film stays true to the real events. However, Hollywood took some liberties with the timeline and with adding a few characters for the movie to be more successful. Two of the main men that Katherine works for are fictional characters based on real people. They were added to the movie to make it more audience-friendly. The director of Katherine's group, Al Harrison, is loosely based on Robert C. Gilruth from the real NASA Space Task Group. An engineer Katherine works with, Paul Stafford, is based on several engineers she worked with. His character represents the racism and sexism she experienced from those engineers.
50 million Americans watching.
I got a warning light.
Go find Catherine.
Colonel Glenn?
There's a real fireball outside. It's getting a little hot in here.
There is also a scene at the end that Hollywood makes more intense and dramatic for the audience. Before John Glenn goes into space, he requests that Katherine double-check the numbers for re-entry that the IBM computer calculated. He did ask for her specifically to check the numbers in real life. However, these calculations took her over a day and weren't done immediately before the launch like the movie portrays.
Despite the few inaccuracies, the movie was successful in staying true to the story. Hollywood did a good job in making it interesting, inspiring, and empowering to all women of color.
Where I need you to be. Where the hell do you go every day?
The colored bathroom is a mile away.
We all get to the peak together, or we don't get there at all.
Friendship 7, do you copy? Over.